Let's go live now to the member for Parramatta, Labor MP Andrew Charlton. Andrew, thanks for your time as always. It's a delicate balancing act at any time delivering a budget. Now the Treasurer facing his third budget in a week and a half from now at a time where inflation's been sticky. At the same time, Queensland facing an election in October. They've announced a $1,000 rebate paid into people's energy accounts regardless of how much money they've got. It's not means tested. What's the challenge here as you see it as an economist when politics and economics collide?
Well, good to be with you. It's certainly a delicate tightrope to be walking at the moment in terms of the economy's current conditions. We have to support people who are doing it really tough with the higher cost of living, but also not fan the flames of inflation, which would put interest rates up. I think the Treasurer has done a fantastic job of delivering targeted relief to families in ways that don't put upward pressure on inflation, and that's still going to be the top priority for the forthcoming budget.
It is indeed, and he said there was a bit of an overreaction off the back of the CPI number. It wasn't as low as some had forecast, but then you've got the retail trade figure out this week, which was very soft. What's your read? I know it's hard, and it's you have five economists, you get five opinions, as they say. But what's your sense of where things are at?
Look, I think if we went back a year and looked forward to this time now, we'd be pretty happy with how the economy is doing. I mean, we have inflation halved from what we inherited from the Liberals. We have a budget surplus. We do have the economy slowing as expected, which we've seen this week in the retail sales numbers, but we haven't had a big hit to unemployment and the jobs market remains strong. So in a tough global environment with high interest rates, I think the Australian economy has shown a lot of resilience, and the government's plan has been working to bring down inflation without smashing jobs.
Certainly, you could argue that from a federal perspective. What about the curveballs from the states like this one that Queensland's announced today? What sort of impact does that have?
Well, we'll be factoring all of those state policies in. As I said before, the important thing for us is to deliver relief to families in ways that doesn't take from one pocket and give to another. We want to be making sure that the relief that we provide doesn't increase inflation and thereby push up interest rates and cost people more through their mortgages. That's why the action that we've taken as a federal government has been action that actually reduces inflation by cutting the cost, for example, of energy, cutting the cost of childcare, cutting the cost of medicines. These are ways to help families, to help them make ends meet, but also to reduce the price level, reduce inflation and get downward pressure on interest rates. That's been the way that we've been carefully crafting and calibrating budget measures over the last two budgets, and that's the way we'll be operating going forward.
Andrew Charlton, from economic security to physical security, there's a couple of questions here that we need to address. One is the domestic violence response. It's obviously the start. The PM says there's much more to come, but it's such a complex, difficult area that needs the whole community, governments, federal, state, but also community attitudes need to shift here as well, because this is a shocking crisis the nation is facing.
That's right. It is a shocking crisis. Women just aren't safe enough in our communities. And that's a reality that we have to confront as a nation. It's not a problem that any one part of the country is going to solve on its own, and it's not a problem that we're going to solve overnight. It's going to require the country to come together and take steps to end this national crisis and make women feel safe and be safe in our communities. I think what happened at the National Cabinet this week was an important step forward. $925 million to support women who are leaving violent situations, to make sure that financial barriers that might have hindered women leaving those situations are ameliorated. That's an important step. And both the Prime Minister and the Treasurer have said that we have more to do in this regard, to provide services, to work with states, to work with civil society, to make sure that we end this national crisis.